Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. As you guys can see on the screen right now, these are the current LCK standings. You will see we have T1 sitting in 5th place. We talked about how earlier in the week, it looked like Faker was going to be starting this weekend. He had been scrimming with the team. Closer had been playing solo queue during their scrims and stuff, so it did look like Faker was finally going to be back. It had been a couple of weeks, even close to a month, I think, since we had seen Faker actually play in an LCK game, and also in that time he wasn't scrimming with the team either. So I mean, he was going to be in a tough situation. It's tough to constantly be swapped in and out. It's tough to constantly play on stage when you haven't been getting to scrim and stuff. But also T1's matchup this week was against Gen G, and you can see they're currently 10-5. They're second place in the LCK. LCK is obviously a very, very tough league. The second best team is very, very tough. And then for Faker in the mid lane to be going up against BDD, that's not an easy task either. But in today's video, we're going to be going over the series that T1 just played against Gen G, breaking it all down, and it should be a lot of fun. But before we get into that, I just want to mention real quick, if you guys have not already, it is that time of the video to take a second and smash the like button. I would appreciate it so much. It really helps me out the YouTube algorithm, helps my videos just get spread more, continue to grow. Everything like that would be absolutely awesome. I aim to get like 100 likes per video. If I get 100, that's how I know it was a banger. So check right now. If we're under 100, hit the like button for me. Subscribe to stay up to date on my latest content. With that being said, let's get right into this. Faker is back for T1. This is the game 1 draft where they have Faker on the Seraphine. They haven't swapped everything here yet. We can speed it up a little bit to get it forward. For some reason, I never actually got ahead there, but I think you can see on the side that Faker is on the Seraphine. Obviously, I think this is one of the most broken champions in the game, especially in competitive. I think it is just so good. So I was really excited to see how Faker was going to do up against it, but obviously he is against the Azir. Not too much should go on during that lane phase. They should both just kind of scale into the late game, and then they're both going to be very effective later on. Obviously, Azir doing a lot more of the damage, where Seraphine's going to provide a lot more of the utility, and T1 kind of has a crazy comp with Senna also providing a ton of utility, a ton of range, a ton of damage, so this one should be interesting. The first highlight is almost 8 minutes into the game. We have no kills, nothing going on. Gold's pretty much dead even. Cuz is coming up into the top lane for a gank onto Rascal's Camille, though. Camille still has flash, but she does just kind of get just knocked out of the way by the Gragas. She does decide to flash away at the very end. Kind of weird flash, in my opinion. She does go down. First blood for Canna in the top lane. So a good start for T1. Obviously, nothing too much that Faker did. But you can see in the mid lane, he's holding his own. He's down like 5 CS right now, but with the wave crashing into him, he's probably up even a little bit of CS, or they're pretty much dead even. Gen G going for a Herald. Clid by himself on the Udyr, looking for that play, but T1 brings the gang. They got 3 up there. It looks like they are not actually able to secure the Herald. Gen G does smite it away. Kind of crazy there, considering it was like 3v1 on it, but the impending fight, they do get a 3-on-3. Teddy and Keria actually roam up as well, so it's looking like a 5v3 now. Clid ends up getting killed off by Canna. Canna is now 2-0 pretty early on in the game, and it looks like he's going AP Gragas, which is not something we typically see in like the LCS or even the LEC, I don't believe, but that is pretty interesting. Obviously, since he's got the kills on him, he'll end up doing a decent amount of damage. Going for another gank onto the top lane there. Canna now 3-0 in the game. He's just taken over on this Gragas. It's crazy. The Azir wall tries to shield off Gen G from T1, but Faker lands a very nice ult onto BDD. He thought he was able to get away, but Faker flashes over the wall. Faker came to play. You know, this is his opportunity to kind of take over this starting spot for the team, and Faker ends up getting a double kill there. So early game, all going T1's way. Again, this is a 7-7 team against a 10-4 team. The 5th place LCK team against the 2nd place team. But so far, T1 is looking very good on the backs of Canna in the top lane and Faker in the mid lane on this Seraphine. They go for another play into the mid lane, and every time Azir tries to shuffle away, Seraphine can just ult him right through it. It's kind of a nasty counter, honestly, and BDD has now fallen prey to that combo 2 times. Faker 3-0, just 16 minutes in. Cuz with a nice play into the bot lane, Gragas with that Everfrost just to help him secure that extra kind of CC and kill and stuff. 7-0, 16.5 minutes into the game. This one not looking good for Gen G and looking very good for T1. Again, this is their 10th different roster of the season. Maybe this is the one. Maybe this is the one that's finally going to pay off with, but we got Faker and Teddy in it. I mean, this roster is very, very talented. So far, Teddy hasn't had to do much. They're doing some fasting Senna in the bot lane, so he's just kind of chilling, farming away. But everybody else doing really good. Cuz having a great game. Canna having a great game. Faker having a great game as well. And again, looking very, very good for T1. We go ahead to 18.5 minutes in. T1 is up 4,000 gold to 18 minutes. That is an absolutely insane lead. Man, Cuz is so fast there. That is disgusting. But BDD is able to get away for a little bit. But man, Hecarim's coming. It's going to be close, but thankfully Clid is there to kind of deter them. But Faker does pick up the dragon. BDD lives, but again, T1 continues to kind of push their lead ahead. Even with their jungler in the top lane, they're still able to get that dragon down. Faker gets caught in not the best position. BDD does TP onto him to pick up that big shutdown onto Faker. Canna trying to 2v1 here. He is obviously very fed. That Everfrost is able to stun up BDD. He's able to get away. Ends up being a 1-for-1 trade for T1 in the end, but Gen G do get a big shutdown onto their Azir, which is obviously going to be good. Canna picks up another kill there with the Gragas barrel. This AP Gragas is just kind of doing work in this game. 6-0 compared to the 0-4 Camille. I wonder if we are going to start seeing more of this like Everfrost Gragas. I don't know if we saw it in the LCS yesterday or not. The pause made the games go so long I wasn't actually able to catch all the games. Cuz with the ult on to Clid there, Clid trying to run away, but Cuz is just going to run him down. Hecarim with Deadman's Plate with the Chem Tank is just so disgustingly fast, but he goes a little too fast, gets in a little too deep, but Faker is able to throw the Seraphine ult down onto the Azir, but T1 kind of gets caught in a bad spot. Clid picks up a kill onto Teddy there. They are able to trade it back, but Camille decides to go in with the Hextech Ultimatum. She doesn't pick up any kills right away. She goes in again onto Keria. He gets real low, so he just decides to go in. He goes down. That Ezreal damage from Ruler is crazy. Ruler is always insane on Ezreal. And that ends up being a 3-for-1 for Gen G while they're down like 4,000 gold 24 minutes in. They pick up a 3-for-1. Not sure if they're going to be able to turn that into Baron or anything, but either way, just making up that gold is going to be pretty crazy for them there. T1 still obviously in a great position, but man, they cannot afford another fight or another play like that. And also, so much of their gold is onto this Gragas, so this game is going to be a lot about whether Canna can actually, finish carrying this one. He is going to do an insane amount of damage, but it is still just a Gragas. If that would have landed, that would have been a one-shot on a Ruler for sure, but he is able to flash away. But that's still a good play for Canna getting Ruler's flash there, obviously. And then they do decide to engage on BDD. He just gets completely wiped out. Faker picks up, I think that's his 4th kill of the game, and he's looking really, really good on the Seraphine. That is Azir down, obviously, so T1's going to start to posture towards the Baron, at least start clearing out the vision and stuff. I don't know if they'll be able to just start it up right away, but they're at least going to act like they are. They have all the vision in the river. There is a ward on the entrance and a ward in that top side bush, but nothing around the Baron for Gen G, and it is just a Udyr, so it's going to be difficult for him to get in, especially through the Seraphine, especially through the Nautilus. Canna is lurking behind the pit. He's on kind of a decent flank, but they do have that warded so they can't see him. Baron's down to 5,000. This is going to be a big play in this game. T1 currently has a 3k gold lead, but whoever gets this Baron, either T1's going to extend their lead very far, or Gen G will pretty much tie the game up with a decent Baron power play. T1 is able to secure the Baron. Canna does decide to ult in with the Gragas ult. Faker completely misses the Seraphine ult, but Clid still gets caught out kind of by Cuz, but they are able to get away. Rascal decides to go in with the Camille, and Teddy is able to kill Ruler right away. Rascal ends up in a weird position. He's trying to jump away, but it does look like Cuz will be able to take him down as he's in between T1's towers. This went from bad to worse for Gen G. Keria does get onto life, but he's able to flash away. BDD puts down the Azir tower, but T1 seems not to care. Cuz going crazy with that Hecarim all in between the towers, but life survives with like 5 HP until he goes down finally. Keria continuing to chase BDD. He's able to shuffle away, but the damage has already been done. T1, the Baron power play is a 3,000 gold play. They're now up 6,000 gold 26 minutes into the game, and if the game was in any question before, it doesn't look like it anymore. 27 minutes in, they finally are able to crack the base. They crack an inhib, and they're just going to continue to kind of work their way around the map and break into Gen G's base. This one is pretty much looking all but over. This has been definitely a good game for T1. You know, they have had, Gen.G's had like one good moment, maybe two good moments in this game, but you can see the gold graph there. It's been all T1 all game since like maybe 8 minutes in. They got their lead and they really never gave it away. It wasn't the most clean game in the world, but again, this is a lineup that has not practiced a ton together. Certainly not as much as Gen.G's lineup. Lineup that has not played on stage together. Certainly not as much as Gen.G's lineup. So everything's not going to be super clean, but the fact that they've been able to do this to the second best team in the LCK is really, really good. But obviously, they are going to have to close out the series. One game, isn't going to do too much for you. They do pick up another Infernal Drake there. Now 30 minutes in. Canna catches out Rascal. Doesn't quite have the damage for the one shot, but is pretty much going to get him with not too much effort, or it wasn't too difficult there. Really, really sad. An 8-0 Gragas against a 0-6 Camille. 32 minutes. T1 is going to look like they need one more Baron before they're able to close this one out. But, if Gen.G doesn't make a play here, this is going to be all but a formality for T1 to just kind of close this one out. They do get the Senna stun onto Clid. It does stun 2. The Hecarim decides to go in. They are able to get a nice and easy kill onto Life there to start the fight. But Gen.G is battling back kind of a lot. Canna gets down really, really low there before he gets the Senna heal. Cuz going in onto Rascal. He's able to Camille jump away. T1 has some people getting low. This is not looking necessarily great for them, but Teddy is able to pick up a kill onto BDD. The Senna is keeping everybody alive, everybody topped off, and doing an insane amount of damage in this fight. Teddy decides to flash in and get aggressive on the Ruler, takes him out. Rascal on the Camille decides to TP in, but he gets stunned up right away, so he decides to get on out of there. In the end, it's a 4-for-1 with Keria going down, but everyone except Camille going down for Gen.G. T1's TPing in. They're looking like they're going to close this one out. That's looking like GG. Again, this is just game 1, but to win a best of 3, you got to start with one win, and that is what T1 did here. Faker ends up 4-1-11 on the Seraphine, just one death, 15 out of 19 KP. I would say this was a good, kind of welcome back to the LCK party for Faker. A good start there. Now we jump ahead to game 2. We saw how good Faker looked on the Seraphine. Yes, he did have like one missed ult, I think, but we saw how Seraphine can be really, really good into the Azir. When Azir tries to shuffle, as long as the Seraphine doesn't get hit, she can stand back. She can just ult right through his wall. He gets kind of charmed right back into him. Well, they decide to run back a similar matchup in the mid lane. Yes, they do ban away the Gragas in the top lane this time, so the Gragas won't be able to go like 10-0 or whatever he went. But we have the same matchup in the mid lane. Also, I still think that Seraphine is very, very good. We have the same matchup in the jungle. We got different bot lanes, different top lanes, so we'll see how this one goes. But this was game 2 between Gen.G and T1. T1 needs to win just one more game to close out this series. 4 minutes in, little more action early on in this game than the last one. We have some 2v2 fighting in the bot lane, but Cuz is lurking over there. He decides to get involved. Keria goes in onto Life, and then Cuz is able to get in on there as well. Teddy picks up the first blood. Getting first blood this early on to Kai'Sa is going to be so disgusting. Going to be doing so much damage. Kai'Sa does not need any help in the early game, and once she gets going, it can be really, really rough. But Canna finds himself in kind of an awkward position on the Gnar. He does decide to just kind of try and fight Clid. Does a ton of damage to him. He does turn mini and almost picks up the kill onto Clid, but Gen.G does get a nice gank, a nice kill there. And now it's 1-1 on the scoreboard. We have a 3v3 breaking out in the bot lane 6 minutes in. TP's in for Gen.G. We'll see what happens here. BDD coming in, decides to shuffle Cuz away. That was kind of a weird Azir ult. He pays for it. He dies. Faker lands his ult onto Clid. Very, very nice play. Ruler gets stunned up. Life gets stunned up. A 3-0 for T1 7 minutes into the game. This game is already getting out of control early for Gen.G once again. But Canna kind of having a tough time in the top lane up against Rascal up here. It looked like he might go down there, but he is able to fight it off. He does survive. No harm there in the top lane. The Camille is down like 20 CS pretty early on, which is probably not great. They decide to just keep punishing this bot lane. Ruler gets absolutely one-shot by the Kai'Sa. That isolated Q, pretty crazy damage there. But T1 still has 4 people in the bot lane, still looking like a 4v2. BDD is coming down on the Azir, but he is not there in time, but they aren't able to do anything else. Canna just continuing to whack away at this top tower. He's about to do the full tower before 14 minutes. Rascal not in a great position here on the Camille, and he does go down. Cuz with another nice play, a nice gank in the top lane, and they're going to pick up first tower as well. Canna and Cuz are both going to have insane leads, and then in the bot lane, they're picking up that tower before 14 minutes as well. So many plates, 6 kills, so much gold on T1, a huge lead, a 6K gold lead before 14 minutes. Like, we thought T1 dominated the early game last game and got out to a huge lead. T1's out to an even bigger lead in this game, and all of a sudden, they're looking like they're about to 2-0 Gen G. Clid does pick up a kill onto Canna there. He does kind of get caught out, but he's still up 20 CS. He's still fine. He picked up first tower. He's chilling. He's not in the best position, you know, 0-2-1, 16 minutes in, but he's doing all right. This is 16 minutes into the game. T1's up like 4,200 gold. They have a Herald charging into the mid lane. Obviously, Teddy decides to ult in. He isn't able to do too much there, but they are able to take the tower. 4 towers to 1, 16 minutes in. T1 is just kind of working them all around the map, and there's not much that Gen G can do when they're down this much gold. They do get a nice pick onto Cuz here, and he does go down. That was a nice play by Rascal, getting the Camille onto the Hecarim, getting the ult down. But T1 with this commanding lead is obviously going to force up the Baron right on spawn. They're going to make Gen G come to them, and either they're going to get a Baron or they're going to get the dream team fight that they're looking for, a team fight up 6K gold, which is going to be very, very tough for Gen G to win. Teddy decides to go deep with that Kai'Sa ult, and there's nothing really they can do. He's just kind of free hitting on him. Cuz picks up a kill onto Rascal there, and T1 5v4. They look like they're going to get back onto the Baron. They're pretty much everybody's full health. Canna's like half, but other than that, they're looking good. Clid has flash, so he could maybe get into the pit if he wants to go for a steal or something here. It seems like Gen G needs to, because again, being down 6K 21 minutes into the game, that's not a recipe for success by any means. Carry is trying to zone everybody off. They just decide to go in again. They get another fight that they like. Cuz goes in a little bit too deep. Don't want to lose your jungler, obviously, right before the Baron. And Gen G's just kind of kiting them away and doing a pretty good job at that. Carry under half health, Cuz under half health, but they do get healed up there. Canna picks up a kill onto Life. Ruler's in a bad spot. Faker gets the kill there. T1 is just dismantling them in this game, and this does not look like a 5th place team against a 2nd place team. T1 is looking really, really good. And if this is the T1 that shows up in like the playoffs or something, that's going to be scary. And if this team can, maybe they found their lineup finally. Maybe they found their mid laner. Maybe they found their AD carry. And they can continue to look like this and also improve as they continue to scrim and practice and play together. T1 could be a very, very scary team, and if they continue this level, obviously they could be headed to Worlds. Now, Clid gets the Baron steal there. As soon as I start talking good about T1, stuff starts going a little bit downhill, but they are able to clean up a lot of the kills there, so I don't think it should matter too much. They have 71 gold on the Baron power play so far, and then they just continue to get caught out. Faker lands a Seraphine ult. Ruler goes down. Life trying to run away. Cuz trying to run him down. What's going to win out there? Cuz is able to kind of knock him back into him, and Teddy just doing so much damage on the Kai'Sa. 10-0 Kai'Sa at 22 minutes. That is disgusting. Picks up the kill there. Faker 109 on the Seraphine. Again, Seraphine's not a champion. We're going to be going like 10-0 or something. Just trying to provide that utility, and he's doing a good job at that. I believe Teddy just picked up his 11th kill there. Absolutely disgusting. 28 minutes in, Faker and T1 going for their 2nd Baron of the game. Or not their 2nd Baron. They got the first one stolen away. So going for their 1st Baron of the game. But the 2nd Baron of the game got it down to 600. They do get that one. Clid is not able to get in there and steal that one away. Thank goodness for T1. But Rascal does pick up a mid tower while that is happening, while that is going on. Gen G goes over to the Drake. They're going to be able to pick up that as well. So they're in a terrible position where obviously T1's getting pretty much everything, so they're trying to get back what they can, and I think they're doing a fine job at that. This is a very, very tough position to play down from, especially when Teddy is 11-0 on this Kai'Sa and has a Seraphine to kind of, you know, keep him topped off and provide the utility and CC for him. I think T1 just has a very, very good comp in this game. The Seraphine Hecarim combo has really worked out for them 2 games in a row now, and it hasn't looked like Gen G has had an answer, as again, they've pretty much snowballed early leads in both games pretty uncontested, 15 to 4, 30 minutes in. Kind of surprised T1 hasn't been able to kind of pressure this lead more. These games are kind of taking a long time, despite being 8K gold leads, but I guess T1 just wants to play it slow, wants to play it methodical. Nothing wrong with that. But it is, I don't know, maybe it is a little bit concerning that it is taking so long. But still, they should be able to push this in. They have the Baron buff for 40 more seconds. I don't know if they'll be able to crack the base just yet, but, you know, if they're not able to, what are they going to do? Wait for the next Baron? Is this going to be like a 40-minute game, even though they're up 10K gold? They are trying to push into the base here. 25 seconds left on this buff. The other team doesn't have great, Gen.G doesn't have amazing wave clear, but T1 just kind of all chilling in mid. Looks like some classic NA ram. I'm very, very familiar with this. We'll see what happens. Faker can always land a big Seraphine ult if they do just want to A ram. That's not really necessarily something you want to do against a Seraphine. But T1 looking for a way in. Not able to do anything just yet. Their Baron buff is now running out, but they look like they're going to try and push on this wave. I'm just wondering what they're going to do. They decide to get aggressive. The Leona ult in. They are able to just completely one-shot Teddy. That is just disgusting damage by Teddy still. They one-shot BDD, not one-shot Teddy. Disgusting damage by Teddy. They only are able to pick up 1 kill, but that will get them into the base. That will get them the mid lane in him. And it looks like they're going to push in for the win. They're going to go for it. 5v4. What is Gen.G going to be able to do? T1 still has like full health bars everywhere. They have a Seraphine healing them up, obviously, and a 12-0 Kai'Sa hitting towers. They do decide to go in underneath the tower. They still haven't taken that one tower. It might be a good idea. Canna goes in, lands a big Gnar ult onto the Nexus. Rascal gets in a little bit too far. Clid is able to get away into his base safely, but T1 are going to take the Nexus towers. They are going to take the game. They are going to take the series. So Faker's return in the end is successful. He goes 2-1-12 on the Seraphine. Teddy goes 13-0, and that's why we have the standings right now looking like this, with T1 at 8-7, Gen.G at 10-5. Yeah, 10-5. I wasn't looking at the screen. So T1 just a game back of DRX, just a game game and a half back of DRX, game back and a half of Hanwha Life. But again, they're probably not going to be able to move up too much in the standings just because they only have 3 matches left. I mean, yes, they could still possibly move into second place. It's going to be very, very difficult, especially with their hard schedule coming up. But if they continue to play like this, they can be a scary team headed into the playoffs. And if you make the playoffs, you know, it doesn't really matter what seed you are at that point. You just got to beat the teams in front of you. T1's going to be a scary team. If they are able to look like this with this lineup, and Faker's able to keep playing how he is, if Teddy's able to keep popping off like that, T1's going to have a chance. And I know it's going to be really, really exciting for T1 fans and for Faker fans out there. So I want to get this video out to you guys. But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. Definitely drop a like if you enjoyed it. I would appreciate it so much. Leave a comment down below. What do you think about T1? Do you think they look good? Do you think they look bad? Do you think this is the lineup for them, or do you think they should swap it up again? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions on anything we talked about in today's video. Subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content. Hopefully catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.